So my topic must have excited some people because I got a lot of emails like, I can't make it, but are you going to post the recording? So I always will post the recording in the Facebook group. But I just want to share, I mean, maybe none of this is going to be like totally earth-shattering, but I want to share just like how, I mean, I've done this for years now, and something that people are always like, tracking my food. I hate tracking my food. And kind of my standard speech for that is you are not going to have to track your food for forever. But when you're working toward a goal, there's always sacrifices that you have to make and things that you have to do that you may not necessarily love doing. So, AKA suck it up. Kidding, not kidding. Um, so there are some of you who don't track for specific reasons, but unless there is a specific reason why we have decided that tracking is not a good idea for you, it really is helpful for me. Like, I have to have something to review to be able to give you advice or kind of like point you in different directions. And again, like once you see how everything adds up and what your, foods that you kind of have in routine are, the easier it's going to be, and you're not going to have to track for forever. I mean, most clients, whenever we're done and we have done a reverse diet back to maintenance calories, which is basically for most of you right now, you're in a calorie deficit. You're not always going to be in a calorie deficit. We buckle down and work really hard to stay within your numbers, for 12 weeks during the calorie deficit. And then I start adding calories back in for you and get you back up to maintenance calories, which for most of you is 2,000 calories or over. And everybody's like always, whenever we start that process, they're like, I don't understand how this is going to work. But what usually happens is people try to keep being good on this like chronic diet. And at some point, either a holiday or a vacation or a stressful event is going to totally derail you. And that's when you're going to gain everything back plus 10 pounds. And this is the whole yo-yo cycle that everyone does. So I am very passionate about having you in a calorie deficit for 12 weeks or as long as your body is still responding. Then we come back to maintenance. Even if you haven't achieved your goal weight, we go back to maintenance for 8 weeks and then we do another deficit. And this is really the key to sustainable long-term weight loss. Okay, that is not my topic for today. I want to share some tracking things. So let me take me just a second, guys. I'm probably going to regret sitting out here in some of this pollen. All right, I think you guys can see that now, right? You see my phone screen? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So let's come into my Fitness Pal. I'm going to click log food. So I've already pre-logged my day to day. And I want to show you guys. So I mean, I've done this for years now, and still, like, if I don't put this stuff in, it is not like if I'm trying to eat food on the fly and then enter it in the app, either I'm going to forget something or I just never have time to finish my day. And it's stressful. And I think it contributes to the whole like food noise idea because you're constantly thinking, what can I have? I'm hungry. What is my next snack? Do I have room for that? Like, it just doesn't work. So pre-log, pre-log, pre-log. I say it till I'm blue in the face. But last night, I reminded myself I can stop scrolling social media for 5 minutes while I come to my Fitness Pal, go to today, and enter what I know I'm going to have. So you can see I have the premium version because it has the nutrients remaining up here at the top. Um, but I did this with the free version for years and years and years. There's no reason why you can't. I'll try to kind of point out differences between the premium and the free. Most people decide that while we're working together, they want to go ahead and have the premium because it's just easier to look at and you can scan barcodes and things like that, but it is not a must. And you can do a free trial and that sort of thing too. So I went ahead and I don't I mean, I have myself, I'm probably more like at maintenance right now. I mean, I've tried to put myself in a little bit of a calorie deficit lately, but I just feel best with this amount right now. It like allows me to work out and have energy and I maintain my weight. I'm building some muscle. So I think my calories right now, let's see, are over 1900. So that just kind of gives you an idea of like what does maintenance look like and it'll show you kind of how you have some freedom. Um, so I went into the app and I went ahead and put like this is kind of my usual breakfast, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute how to copy it from day to day. I put my now lunch. I went to get my lunch today, and Steven had taken what I was going to eat for lunch, so I had to like tweak it, but I still made it work. And you can see I have 0 grams of protein left. So like I've made sure I hit my protein. I have some carbs extra because I'm probably going to pick up like a piece of fruit or something like that at some point that I didn't already have planned. I just ate my Heavenly Hunk little oatmeal thing, and it was the perfect sweet after my lunch was not very exciting. Rice, cauliflower, Korean barbecue, and I had a pack of the chicken breast bites. Um, and then dinner, look at this. I'm going to Red Elephant for dinner. So I have put in here my personal cheese pizza. Okay, Red Elephant personal cheese pizza is not in here. I don't let that hang me up. I just log a personal cheese pizza that looks about right, like calorie wise. I'm having a side salad. I won't eat the croutons and I'll get olive oil and vinegar on it. And so I went ahead and put the or the teaspoon of olive oil. And then, sorry, I keep thinking I can scroll down on my computer, but and then snacks, I had some protein after my workout. I'll have cottage cheese. Do I want to eat cottage cheese every afternoon? Is it like, do I crave it? No. Do I feel full after I eat it? Yes. So it's satisfying. It helps me hit my protein goal. I don't hate it. If you hate cottage cheese, don't eat it. You could do Greek yogurt, but I prefer cottage cheese to yogurt. And I recently did some food sensitivity testing and I was more sensitive to yogurt than cottage cheese. So I'm a cottage cheese girl. And then I love the Parmesan cheese crisp, those little, you know, not chips, but like cracker things. So I have some of those this afternoon. I'm excited to eat those. So what I'll do is I'll eat those like on my way to pick up the boys from school. It's crunch, it's salt, it fits my goals. So everything has fit here. I have a little bit to spare. I hit my protein, and that's a solid day. I feel really good about that. I'm only going to eat the extra carbs and fat if I'm hungry, because like I said, I've kind of been like teetering between doing maintenance versus a calorie deficit. So it just depends on how I feel. I will drink lots of water and listen to my hunger and fullness cues and decide if I really want that extra. But I would just say also in addition to that, like less is not always more. So like if I feel like I don't want to go for an extra walk or I don't want to push as hard in a workout because I'm depleted, I would definitely want to eat that so that I can be more active. Never put exercise in. I don't put water because I drink tons of water. I don't really, but never put exercise in because it is going to credit you calories and mess up all the numbers that I gave you. So please don't put exercise in. You can put exercise in trainer foo. Okay, so let's come to tomorrow. So you can see my nutrients remaining at the top. And if you click these three little ellipses right here, you can copy food from day to day. So usually what I'll do, like breakfast is pretty similar, even if a few things are different. It's just really easy to click this button, copy from date, breakfast from today, or maybe like you have the same breakfast Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and something different Tuesday, Thursday. Then you could just copy from Monday, copy from Wednesday, copy from Tuesday, whatever. You get the gist. So I copy it from today. Everything's already in there. And then I say, hey, you know what? I'm only going to have 2 links of the breakfast sausage this morning. So I'm going to change that to 2. Um, Maybe I only have blueberries now. I don't have raspberries. So I'm going to get rid of the raspberries and I'm going to put blueberries. Now remember, as you search entries, things are going to start to pop up that you commonly choose. Like see that history right there? So you're not always going to have to sift through tons of foods. Whenever you first start, it's like it brings up everything in the database and they all have different numbers, and that really throws people off. But this does not have to be rocket science. Just the act of tracking and you being aware of how things add up is going to alter the way that you eat. They have done numerous studies on this. People that track their food in some way eat less or a more reasonable calorie level than the people who don't. So don't let discrepancies with the food entries throw you off. Again, like most of you are getting incredible results with what you're doing, and so it does not have to be rocket science. I'm going to change this serving from a cup. I'm not going to use a cup of blueberries. I'll do a third of a cup. I like the oatmeal I've been eating. Usually Davis eats a little bit of it, so I have like 2/3 of a pack on there. I always have a piece of gluten-free bread with cashew butter. That is something too. I did this food sensitivity test and I'm had a little bit of a reaction to peanuts and almonds, so I have tried to switch to more cashew. All right, so let's just say tomorrow I'm going out to lunch, but I'm not sure. Let's say, a lot of you guys, okay, like let's say a work meeting, or maybe you're traveling for work and you don't really know how to account for lunch. Um, you can click these three little ellipses and push quick add. And then you can do what this is called a placeholder. So let's say, like, I think I'm going to get some sort of salad or, whatever. I'd say, so if you don't have the premium version, you can't put in the fat, carbs, protein, which really it takes some experience knowing, what to even put. But I'm just going to place hold 600 calories. Anytime you eat out, it's going to be a lot more fat than you think. So I'm going to say 20 grams of fat, let's say 50 grams of carbs and 30 grams of protein. And it actually adjusted the calories to 500 to match these. But if you don't have the premium, it's not going to let you do that, just the calories. But still, again, doesn't have to be rocket science, but let's just put that. So put that in there. Like, let's say you're going to your mother-in-law's for lunch and you don't know what she's serving and you don't really want to be like, hey, what's on the menu tomorrow? Now, if it's someone that you feel really close to, like that might be appropriate, because when when you're trying to accomplish a goal, there's going to be some sacrifices and you need to plan as much as possible, but it doesn't have to like wreck your day or your week if that kind of event is going on. And then dinner, let's push add food. So add food. I'm going to go here to my recipes, and I have some preloaded recipes in here. This has taken a little bit of time over, the years that I've like put random things in. But if you put it in on the front end, it's going to be easier, as you go to track. So let me just show you how you can click create a recipe. You can title it. Most recipes are going to have like the nutrition information. Let me show you guys real quick. Like, let's pull up something on, well, not Target. Where's Pinterest? Let's pull up something on Pinterest. Okay, yeah, I saw this Whole30 chicken potato casserole. Looked really good, so I saved this recipe. Jump to recipe. All right, so it says how many servings right there. Y'all see 8 servings, so you could put that in MyFitnessPal. If you scroll down to the bottom, a lot of times it'll have, oh, come on and load all these advertisements. A lot of times it say here, there's a whole nutrition section. So you could do one of two things. You could just put the quick add placeholder, sorry, for, oh my gosh, 314 calories, 22 grams of protein, 22 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein, 22 grams of fat. Or if you want to put it in as one of your recipes, you can copy these ingredients. So let me, oops. This is a lot of ingredients. Probably not the best recipe to do this for. So let's copy that. Come to my Fitness Pal. So it was, let's put, I don't know, it was like potato casserole. Is that what it was? I don't know about the chicken part because that was really low protein. Served 8 people. See how it says paste or type your ingredients and they'll match them? So I'm going to paste this list and push the little arrow. So look, it's already imported everything for me. I usually will skim through and just make sure it all makes sense. 493 calories per serving. So something's a tiny bit off. Didn't match their numbers exactly, but anyway, you get the idea. It's really easy to copy and paste. And then the recipe's in here. You can log it. I wonder if her calculation was off because that protein seemed not right. Anyway, you would put, I'm not going to save this one right now because I don't know if I haven't double checked it, but you would push save and log. So that was a hard recipe to do it for because it has a ton of ingredients, but I always recommend Lily Eats and Tells recipes for you guys, and all of her stuff is preloaded in here. So let's search Lily Eats and Tells. It comes up with like, I love her burger bowl. It has all of her stuff. Creamy buffalo chicken. She has it all in here. Let's just say the lemony chicken. We're going to add that. So that is dinner. So right now that's at like 1,200 something calories because mine's at 19 and I had 7 something left. So this might be something similar to what you guys have. And maybe you don't have, I like to eat a lot more in the morning and taper off as the day goes on. I just find that like it gives me more energy throughout my day and I'm fine eating something smaller for dinner. It doesn't really bother me. But let's go to the next day because I want to show you. Let me think if there's anything else I wanted to. The quick ad, Lily Eats and Tells, how to do the recipe. Oh, you can do meals too if you click add food. My meals. So I have my shake in here. So if you click that, it will list everything separately. So like, let's say that day I didn't have coconut milk, then I can just swipe and delete it. But that to me takes a lot less time than like putting in each ingredient again. Does that make sense? So why don't we do a day of pre-logging? I don't want to mess up my numbers in here, but maybe I should. Someone who's on, tell me what do you know what your macros are set for? You can either tell me or just put it in the chat. I don't even know if I can see the chat right now, so okay. All right, so let's say you're gonna have a shake for breakfast. We're gonna do add food and then my meals. I'm gonna do the shake. And then lunch. What do I usually have for lunch? Let's say one of the fresh additions, chicken pouches. Let's say maybe some broccoli, like just steamed broccoli. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself one of those heavenly hunks. So I know I want that. And we'll add, so dinner you may not know and it may change and that's fine, but like you could put your yogurt or I'll put like my cottage cheese here. I'm gonna put some blueberries with it, so I know that's what I'm having. I usually like to have something crunchy, salty in there, so I could do some mixed nuts or those Parmesan wisps. And I make sure I measure this out because honestly, like I want every ounce that I can have. Maybe you don't want to measure it, just count out the number of crackers, but like don't guess. We as Americans are really bad at guessing these things, okay? And then let's say, what would it, let's do like spaghetti. So I usually use Banza noodles. So 2 ounces of dry pasta is usually about a cup of cooked pasta, just FYI. So I'm gonna put that, my favorite, or let's just say I have our spaghetti recipe in here. My recipes, we're gonna do spaghetti sauce with ground turkey. Add that. So that's probably pretty close to some of y'all's numbers, around 1400. And you've got solid protein. I mean, that's over 100 grams of protein. Um, so like that took me how many minutes? I mean, like 3, 4. And then you go into the day with a plan and you're not like wandering around the pantry or the oh, here's the chat. Okay, yeah. You're not wandering around the house trying to, or like going through drive-throughs trying to figure out what you're going to eat. So let's look at Cody's numbers are 145 protein. Let's see how close I am to that. All right, so 154 protein, 100 carbs, 45 fat. So I would take out the cheese wisps. So I got fat. That's good. I would consider maybe doing spaghetti sauce without the beef part and just leaving it a leaner protein. Um, but you also could just add, you could add some egg whites for breakfast. I probably would take out the coconut milk. I'm not like huge, I don't usually do coconut milk. It has a lot, look, that was a lot of fat. So now we have much more room for fat. So I would still use the Clovis Farms smoothie pack. Can y'all see this? Okay. Let's do some egg whites. You could even pour the egg whites are pasteurized. You can pour them in your shake. You won't taste them. A half a cup of Kirkland egg whites. Let's see what it looks like now. I'm looking at this nutrition button so I can see and get it as close to. So we have a little bit of extra room for fat and we have more protein. So I would come in here and change this chicken breast bites. I would do 2 pouches. I would add maybe a Chomp's beef stick. So now I've got 142 protein, 116 carbs, 49 fat. So fat's pretty close. Carbs are a tiny bit over. Protein is really close. So I could tweak, I could either take the blueberries away, or maybe I'm just like, okay, I'm going to have a little bit less pasta, or maybe I want to do, so a lot of times what I'll do is do a half a serving of the actual pasta and let's add in some spaghetti squash and like or zucchini noodles and use that to like bulk up the volume. Sorry, I cannot talk and type. How do you spell zucchini? There we go. How do you spell zucchini? So a cup of zucchini noodles. I'll use that with the pasta. It bulks it up. Still get to enjoy some pasta. Love spaghetti. Let's see. So that took away some protein because there is quite a bit of protein in the Banza. So we could do more egg whites. I mean, egg whites are really easy because, like, let's just change that to 3/4 of a cup. And again, like, you can just put this in your shake, or you can, like, let's just say we want to scramble it and we want to do like some salsa with it or hot sauce. You don't like, salsa doesn't have that much as far as a couple tablespoons of salsa with the egg whites or like hot sauce on it. And look, we're at 144 protein, 106 grams of carbs, 47 grams of fat. Like that is pretty darn close. So that's what I mean by like taking a little bit of time the day before to map it out. Then you start this day saying, okay, what am I having for breakfast? Guarantee you'll be satisfied with that amount of protein that you're eating. Then it's lunch. You get a sweet treat at the end of lunch. So, and you can have that with lunch or dinner, depending on whatever you want. Um, and again, remember that this is the hardest part when you're in the calorie deficit part. You saw my numbers were easier because it's more maintenance, but that's where you're going to live life. That's where most people do not get because they try to stay in these chronic like diets. Then you have spaghetti with dinner, spaghetti for dinner. The kids love it. You're not making extra meals for the kids, for yourself. And then you have great snacks. So one of them, like I would try to eat the cottage cheese and berries when you're not going to be like running errands in your car, but the meat stick is really easy to just carry in your purse, eat it in the school pickup line. I mean, that's just super easy. Um, and if you, so for all of my people who travel like for work and that sort of thing, what I like for you to do is do this at home as much as you can so that you get an idea of what all of this looks like. Like, I'm gonna stop sharing. Um, you get an idea of how everything looks. You get an idea how um you feel with that amount. And you can really like the more you know it when you're home, the more you can put it on repeat even whenever you're traveling. So I've sent all of you hand portion guides. You can use your hand as a way to measure, like if you're eating out, palm of your hand protein, cupped handful of a carbohydrate, thumb of healthy fat, and as many non-starchy vegetables as you can get your hands on. So if you use those principles when you're away and you don't have control over what you're eating, and you track and really kind of learn what that looks like when you're home, you're going to make great progress. So I hope that that was all helpful. I don't know. I'm trying to make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to tell you guys about my Fitness Pal. I didn't show you like the whole like scanning labels and stuff like that, but you can, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, but tracking does not need to take a long time, but I tell you what takes a long time is when you're trying to put it in as you go and like playing food Tetris throughout the day. That's not fun. Don't recommend doing that. So stop scrolling social media for 5 minutes. At the end of the day, go to your app, put it in, start your day with a plan, and your results will be so much better than if you're just always trying to do this on the fly. That's my spiel. All right, let me stop recording.